it goes back to a conversation we've had all year, Tim. What is a double movement anymore?
Who knows? But I kind of felt this one was. It was more down the line. I think it felt more that it had finished and he went on.
I think the on-field decision was crucial on this one, because from one angle of the replay, it did look like his full momentum never actually took him over the line, and it was the lift of the arm and the move forward of that took him over the line. But from another angle, it did look like he finished up mostly over the line, and it was more a bounce than a reach. So I think the on-field decision was crucial in this one, but you can understand why the referee saw it as a double movement. Although in the same breath, I wouldn't have been fuming with the decision if it had been given as a try based on what we've seen previously this year. So I know that sounds like a bit like I'm sitting on the fence on this one. I'm delighted that it was a no try, and I don't think Warrington deserved to come out of this game with 2 tries. I don't necessarily think they hugely deserved to come out of the game with any tries, based on how hard Wigan worked in this game and how much Wigan were hugely the better side in the first half. And Wigan unfortunately left 2 or 3 tries out there in the first half, I felt, and maybe certainly a few more points anyway out there in that first half. In the second half, Warrington at least came out with a level of intensity that they can build on for next week's Challenge Cup final, because they were well off the pace and well beaten, deservedly beaten by a much better Wigan Warriors side in that first half. In the second half they came back, and what Wigan did very, very well is maintain their line, fought through a period where Warrington were all over them, right on their line, had an extra man as well for a lot of that time, and managed to come out of that period unscathed. So all around, I came out of this feeling really positive from a Wigan perspective, but I think the second half means that Warrington fans should more be critical of what their players dished up in the first half, rather than think they've got absolutely no chance, just not much of a chance, if Saints play like they can next week. That's my sort of summation of the game. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, I only caught sort of highlights and a sort of extended bits of this one, but yeah, I think it's worrying for Warrington in a way. But equally, from the flip side, does this become your motivation? Is this something you use in the build-up to say, right, we can't be that bad again. If we are that bad again at Wembley against Saints, we're going to be shipping 40 points. So is that what they do? Is they have a constructive deconstruction of how they go through everything and what their mistakes are. But it's a worrying trend for them for the last 3 weeks. Their form has not been where it should be.
I think
and coming into a final, it's dangerous.
It's potentially a good opportunity for a watershed moment at that half time. I mean, Steve Price came out after the game saying I shouldn't have had to have those sorts of conversations with my players at half time of a big game when our top 2, second in the table places at stake, and people's places in a Wembley squad are potentially under question. There was a couple of Warrington players who did not let themselves down. I think Chris Hill, it was the best I've seen him play in person so far this year. And also Joe Philbin was absolutely outstanding for Warrington when he came on. He showed all the sort of effort and intensity and drive that they needed. Darryl Clark was very good, but not threatening close to the line, and maybe that was as much to do with the capabilities of the players either side of him when he was distributing from dummy half. But I do think Darryl Clark's a player that scares Wigan, but in this game we were able to contain him and control him. Even though he made lots of meters, he never actually looked like cutting us apart, which I think was a good thing from Wigan's point of view. Star players from Wigan, though, I mean, Bevan French was electrifying. This guy is... I was dubious because he hadn't played any first grade this year. He just... All I can remember was a quick guy who didn't have great hands, but he's big. He's powerful as well as quick. There's so much Amos Roberts in him. As long as he doesn't get that huge career-ending injury that Amos Roberts got, then...
That sounds like he's sticking out of his arse.
No, we've got some here in this guy, and he should be entertaining for the whole competition, not just for Wigan fans. Hardacre, he was a strong performer. He's gaining huge consistency. You know, it seems like he's become more consistent off the field. If that is helping him now be more consistent for Wigan on the field, that's really good, because at the start of the season his defence was strong but his attack was poor, and I suppose he needed to have a strong defence against his normal urges. So if he's delivered on that somewhat, then that's only good for Hardacre the person as well as Hardacre the player. And then Smithies and Farrell, they were absolute engines in the middle for Wigan in this game. Absolute non-stop performances. So, you know, Morgan Smithies is getting talked about. Adrian Ladd's having to field questions about whether he'll be in the Great Britain squad. That's where Morgan Smithies, 18-year-old Morgan Smithies, who was maybe going to get a handful of games at the start of the season, is now being talked about in the Great Britain squad conversation. He won't be in the Great Britain squad. Let's not say too much otherwise there, but what a fantastic start to a career he's had. Highlight moments for me, French's no try in the first half, that comes very close, because whilst it didn't result in a score, the excitement of his pace combined with the effort from Ben Curry to make that cover tackle meant I think this was a thrilling highlight in the game for all observers, really. Probably the neutrals got the most out of it, because Warrington will be worried that they were cut up so easily down the middle. Wigan will be upset that Ben French couldn't quite get the try scored, but everyone else watching was just enjoying the electrifying moment that it delivered. But I'm going to edge that one out with an actual try and say Williams' try was absolutely outstanding. The fact that he worked his way to the short side, which is something I used to criticise him for relentlessly, that he would stay just on the left and just in the same sort of role with the same sort of options. He's not done that of late. Most of the season he's not done that, but of late it's become more apparent and effective that he'll take up second receiver, or he'll spot where there's a place. And on this play, he spotted on the short side that he could create an extra man. He'd be running at tired markers who weren't expecting them to run the ball down that channel at that stage. So then there was the great double pump to take advantage of Wire being absolutely petrified of Bevan French's pace to keep the ball himself and show his own nice lick of pace and score a fantastic try. So that's my final say on that one there. And also fantastic decision by the officials on the Oliver Gildart high tackle. Although Jake Mamo was ducking into it was direct contact to the head, so for me that's a yellow card every day.
Well, there we are then.
That's my take on things, Tim. But I'm really happy as a Wigan fan that we beat a team in the top two, and they might not be in the top two as the season rolls on.
Okay, shall we move on to the game on Saturday afternoon?
Just a quiet game, this one.
Yeah, nothing much happened here. Back to the south of France, and it was Catalan 4, London Broncos 17 in front of 7,725 people. Mr. Liam Moore being your man with the whistle, and having been 0 to the home side, 8 to London at the halfway mark. In terms of the statistics, 377 more metres at a better average game, making 6 more breaks for London. Add to that more tackle busts, more successful offloads, fewer penalties conceded, and a 4% better team tackle success. Oh, no, it wasn't for London. You'd think from those numbers Catalan would have been able to win this one, but an error count of 18 errors to 5 cost the Dragons heavily in this game. In terms of that winning London Broncos side, Rhys Williams, subject of transfer rumours in the last couple of weeks, 1 try assist, 109 metres. Elliot Keir, 121 metres. Kieran Dixon, 1 try, 155 metres. And Eddie Batty running for, or smashing through like a sandwich, for 105 metres. For that losing Catalan Dragon side, David Mead, 197 metres for him. Lewis Tierney making 154 metres, 2 clean breaks. The moral vacuum himself, Mr. Kenneth Edwards, who is playing unbelievably. 1 try assist, 10 tackle busts, 120 metres. 2 clean breaks, 4 offloads, and Benjamin Garcia, 54 tackles and 18 marker tackles. We had some fan views on this, Mark, starting with Malkarma Tios.
Well, first, just to jump back to Ben Garcia's 54 tackles, 18 of which were marker tackles. Within that phenomenal stat, though, was a dangerous tackle that's resulted in him getting a 2-match ban. So that's unfortunate for him and his side. Malcolm Matias said, "Prue, I say, enough. Too many crap English donkeys led by a dead donkey. Don't drop the dead donkey. Shoot it again."
Tom Andrews said, "Going to completely turn anti-expansionist soon. Not sure what's going on at Catalan. Gigu couldn't organise a blowjob in a brothel. Cassiano couldn't pass wind. Seems to me player power trying to force Mac Banana out. Oh, and Greg Bird, you're still a wanker." Well, that was never in doubt, was it?
No. Paul Chamberlain said, "Thank fuck Bird is retiring at the end of the season. What a complete fat fucking Aussie arsehole." And there is some competition for that award with Merrin around. Still, Catalans seem to be grooming plenty of replacements in the bell end department. Immense heart and effort by the boys. Already, he means the London boys there, already they have more wins than any side to go down. If indeed they are relegated, Armitage looks a tad interesting. So what did you make of it, Timothy?
I enjoyed this one. This is, probably the one side I've got any affection towards this week that did well for the London Broncos. To pick up on that last point of Paul's, Armitage I thought did very well for what is only his second professional game of Rugby League. So he's definitely got some quality and well worth bringing in. And to pick up on your point a couple of weeks ago, he is related to the Armitages.
He is. He must be their much younger brother, because it feels like they've been around for donkeys. And
I'm pretty sure at least one of them will be retired by now.
Yeah.
So it must be, yeah. But he did look good. I had good reports from him last week over at London Scholars, and he did well again.
Well, he scored a hat-trick for the Scholars last week, which I didn't realise. That's what they said in the commentary on the Sky commentary. I don't know if that's true or not, because I haven't fact-checked it, and I should really. But he scored for the Scholars last week, so a good start to Rugby League for the kid.
He definitely scored 2. I remember seeing 2 come up on Twitter, but we'll take it. It's Ben Pro. We'll assume he actually has done his work.
Ben Pro is so enthusiastic about everything that I would trust him to fact check with enthusiasm just as much as he announces every play with enthusiasm.
Yeah, he's definitely my substitute commentator of choice. Certainly over anyone who might be on the Our League app. Let's put it that way. Who shouldn't be working in broadcast media.
Not everyone that's on the Our League app. Let's just clarify.
No, one particular commentator.
Just gropey shitbags who don't own up to their gropey shitbaggery.
And blame everybody else for their own errors.
Allegedly.
Alleged. I think they're blaming everybody else. I'm quite confident on.
Allegedly, anyway. But the Broncos in this game they were certainly taking advantage of other people's errors in this game rather than blaming other people for what was going on around them.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely, there was it's good play again. It's part of, and I've mentioned this a few times, it's the spirit London have got that they just they pick up things. They play with this, that they play the sort of free sheets to the wind sort of way. They just cut through, but they're just going to keep trying. They're going to keep scoring and they're going to pick up on things. They're going to be opportunistic. They're not necessarily going to have always the best structured plays, the best technical play, but if there's something there, they'll pounce on it. If you look at was it Ryan Morgan getting his arm to that ball to sort of juggle it over to Ryan Dixon, then
interception.
Yeah, that then let Dixon do Dixon things and sprint from nowhere through to score. And again, I've talked about this before, but Luke Yates, he's got to be up there for signing of the season in terms of the sheer work rate he gets for and the linchpin of that side. And
I think if London stay up, he has to be a serious contender for that. Unfortunately, not to knock him or anyone, but if the team go down, then it's hard to elevate anyone beyond the acknowledgement that they weren't quite good enough in the end. But he's been a fantastic signing, and he's certainly proven himself to be a player for this level.
Yeah. If nothing else, he'll earn himself a contract somewhere else. But again, it's that spirit they've got in that London side, that they're doing it for each other, that they're working. And I just think they've got the belief that they'll stay up. And they've got that belief. And you just kind of think that even though the position